Welcome to the Business Shop Podcast, where our guests speak on meeting the challenges of entrepreneurship, as well as offer tips and advice on business, marketing, technology, and more. Whether you are a newbie or a seasoned professional, this episode is for you. I am your host, Audrey Wiggins. Let's chop it up. Hello, Chop Squad. Audrey Wiggins here, your host, and I'm excited as usual to be with you and to present to you another fantastic guest. Today, our guest is Manny Skevofilax, and he is a consultant, a speaker, author that helps business owners maximize profits and overcome growth challenges. So we're going to learn more about that, those challenges there, to help us to achieve financial freedom. Who doesn't want that, right? We need personal financial freedom, right, Manny? In our business, we need it too. Yes. He's an expert in strategic planning, financial statement analysis, business operations, and organizational development. The Manny's been achieving extraordinary outcomes for his clients since 2003. So on the other side of this message, we're going to come back and hear more from Manny. Knock out your competition with Altogether Marketing. We elevate your brand. Take a stance with your business name, logo, the tagline, your colors, even the fonts for your business. And then jab left with your website, jab right with core values. Back up with product experience and bring it on with you. Visit altogether.biz and let us help you create a knockout brand. Welcome back, Manny. Thank you for being on the Business Shop.
Thank you for having me, Audrey. I'm excited to be here with you.
Now, before we get started, give us some fun facts or something, an achievement that you're quite proud of.
You know, my parents were born in Greece. On this background here is one of the beaches, and they actually immigrated to America after World War II, and they met here in America. They didn't know each other on the island.
Wow.
So we are very blessed that our parents were able to come to this country and give us the opportunity to be here, because it's a very difficult environment over there. Very beautiful, but very tough.
Yeah, it is gorgeous. I would love to get there too. What achievement have you made over the years that you're quite proud to say, to share with us?
Yeah, my funnest one so far is I was blessed to be able to have a book published by a publisher last June. And it's a summation of everything that my teachers and mentors have taught me and everything that I was able to learn on how to grow a business profitably. That book's called Ultimate Profit Management.
That's exciting. Okay. So I know you'll later on in the show, you'll let us know how we can get that. And so we can, get even more in depth with you and your expertise. So, Manny, yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So, Manny, right off the riff here, we talk about, financial planning, strategic, and all of that, money stuff. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of mistakes, right? So how can we identify and avoid, you have what you call out as 8 common growth mistakes?
Yes. I would like to start with the first one. And Audrey, these are things that I've seen over and over again in my career. The first one is do not set unreasonable growth goals for yourself. So for example, I'm just going to throw some numbers out. If your business did $1 million last year in revenue, and all of a sudden you say, you know what, I want to do $2 million next year, that's 100%.
Yeah.
Is it really possible? It might be completely reasonable for Audrey to double the size of her company in 1 year. And it might be completely unreasonable for Manny. You may not have enough capital, enough people, enough things that you need to be able to double the size of your company in a year. And it's going to create a lot of stress for you and make you unhappy. So that first one is try to set something that's a reasonable growth goal that works for you, because your happiness is the most important thing.
What would be another one?
The other one is one that I still haven't figured out for myself. There's a lot of different names for it, Audrey. It's called shiny new toy syndrome.
Ooh.
So
should we change the direction of the podcast episode?
Now I've gotten better. I had to give myself a little bit of credit. I have gotten better over the years, but shiny new toy syndrome. So you sit down, you make yourself a plan, and you say, okay, I am going to be at this point in the next 90 days. And then things are going along fine, kind of the first month. And then all of a sudden something appears, and that's that shiny new toy. It catches your attention. And now you start to abandon what the plan that you made and you've been working towards for a whole month. And now you start paying attention to this new thing. So now you get distracted. And unfortunately, sometimes that distraction makes you so you don't achieve anything. So do your best to, once you put your plan down, to stick to it. And I always say one caveat. If you're sticking to your plan, but it causes you some kind of cash crunch, then please change it. Stop doing what I was doing. Don't be afraid to change, right?
Yeah.
And try not to let these shiny new toys jump out and grab you.
Yeah, because that's important. Because I know over the years, I've out of the first business experience I had at 15 was, network marketing. And sometimes, so throughout the years I've got involved and, but sometimes we can get distracted. That's the main word. You already said it, to be distracted like that. To say, oh yeah, this is gonna help me. I'm gonna do this. And so, and the people always try to convince you that you can keep doing what you're doing. That's not gonna take up too much time, but time is money, and it does take your time. We have to really be strategic. I think we really have to be strategic in our thinking if we're going to pick up a new shiny toy, or get involved in an opportunity that that we believe that can help our business. And really, how can it help? Does it come alongside? Does it take over? And like you said, we get derailed, and before you know it, we're back, we're at the beginning.
Yes, that's very well said, Audrey. Another one, business owners get so busy because they're wearing so many different hats in their business that they don't stop once a month to review their financial results. This is that financial statement analysis. This is what we are taught in a bank, how to analyze a financial statement. And the business owner, you're so busy and you don't stop to just take a look and say, hey, did I make money this month? Am I doing okay cash wise? And not stopping could potentially lead something to come up when you're not prepared and bite you. And that's always very important, is to just take an hour a month and review your financial results so you can try to catch some negative trends, if there are any, before they can really take hold.
Now, what does that look like? Go a little deeper of, looking at a financial report, or, what are we looking at? Are we looking at our invoices and PayPal, or?
Sure. We're going to want to look at a P&L, profit and loss statement, or otherwise known as an income statement. And that is going to show your revenue, the amount of money that you generated from your sales. And it's also going to show all your costs. And it's going to be revenue minus all of your costs. And that's going to equal your net profit, hopefully, pre-tax net profit. It's a good place where questions pop up, because you can ask yourself, why did my revenue grow? Why did I make more money last month than I did the month before? So it keeps you armed with really good, solid information to make your decisions. You also want to take a look at your balance sheet to understand, are you getting paid as agreed with your client? And do you have enough cash? Those things are going to show up on your balance sheet. And then looking at a statement of cash flows, I'll keep it very simple, but you'll get used to it. And the statement of cash flows will show you how the business, the cash circulates in your business. So those are the three components, the main components to a financial statement.
Okay.
And you just get used to it. Get used to looking at it.
For some of us, maybe like solopreneurs, we may not understand what you're talking about. I think most of us probably know a P&L or profit and loss statement. How do we create these statements? Are we setting up something in Excel? Are we using one of the bookkeeping programs? And if we're fortunate enough to hire an accountant, is that person, how does this work? How does this look to be able to find those things or create them?
Excellent question, Audrey. In the beginning, most people, when they're just jumping into their business, they use Excel to track their transactions. However, based on times changing, the accounting software came into style, and it got cost effective to use and pretty easy. Again, you just got to get used to it, right? It's like riding a bike. My recommendation is to try to skip the Excel step, because if you use Excel initially, that's okay, but try to get over to some accounting software as soon as you can. It's very cost effective, and it keeps all of your numbers straight and in one place. And
Yeah,
then
and
come tax time, when you have to get your taxes done, you don't want to have stuff all over the place.
right, exactly. And the key word that I'm thinking about is the automation part of that.
Mhm.
Because you may be entering an invoice, maybe a purchase order, or or receipt, for money that that's going out, our expenses, then all of that's calculated, and we don't have to make up formulas or so create categories.
It's a great point you make. You hit the nail on the head. It cuts down on your chance of making mistakes.
Yeah.
Back to what you said, time is money, right? And
Right.
right.
Then how can we safely control the pace of growth? I know you talked about a little bit, you alluded to it earlier about setting goals to double, 100% growth. How can we safely do that and plan and keep it steady and profitable? Because sometimes we can be too profitable and we can't produce because we can't meet our obligations to our clients.
Yeah. So each business owner knows, what it's going to take to get the next customer, right? So if we're starting in the beginning, we get our first customer, and I'm going to assume that you have done the costing correctly and that Audrey servicing this customer is profitable. Well, then you just need to figure out, what would it take me to get the next customer? Maybe you don't need anything else. You already bought a computer. Let's say your service business.
Okay.
What do you need? You might not need more overhead. You just need to go get that client, and there won't be any additional expenses. It will just be more of your time, let's say, and that'll lead you to making more profit. So your focus would be, how can I get customer 2 and customer 3 and customer 4? Where you don't want to be careful is to your point, being organized and having that automation. If it's difficult or it's time consuming to bring on a lot of customers, you don't want to do that at the same time. So you want to pace yourself based on what you can afford, and avoid putting on overhead if you can help it, at least in the initial stages of your business, right? So focus on activities that generate money for you, as opposed to going out and getting a big office and putting all the rent expense on your head and things of that nature. Try to delay that.
So how can I avoid running a business that's losing money as it grows? So it's coming in one way door and going out the other.
Yeah. Okay. So I am going to assume that you are bootstrapping. That means you're doing it like everybody does it, one customer at a time. You don't have any investors or outside money. You got to keep a close eye on that P&L document at least once a month. And it's going to tell you right away. Let's say you're looking at your results. It's January now. Let's say we're looking at December's results. If you had a profit, then you want to make sure that you can replicate that same performance for the month of January. If there's going to be some expenses that you need to take on, that you're able to pay for them over a period of a couple months. You don't want to make a move that's suddenly going to make the business unprofitable, because that could get you in a cash flow jam.
Going from there, then how can no? Let me back up for a minute, because you're in banking. So it's at some point, then you talked about bootstrapping. What would make our decision, or how should we approach a bank loan?
So again, this is just my experience. If you're just starting a business, it's going to be difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it difficult? Because your business is unknown. It's not a known entity. It does not have a track record. There is a possibility that you could get a small business loan, but they generally are going to require at least a year, maybe 2 years of performance, right? Because business is so risky. The statistics are very alarming. Like 90% of businesses go out of business in the first 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the banks are a little skittish. So maybe if you focus on being profitable, you're creating your own capital. So maybe you can get a credit card to start, but be paying that credit card every month. So it'll give you a 30-day cushion. And then once you build up some more experience with paying that credit card on time, then maybe you could go and ask, what would it take to qualify for a bank loan, and start a relationship with a bank. The first thing would be to open up an account at the bank and get introduced to whoever the manager is at the branch there, because the face-to-face relationships are very important. They're important overall, but they're especially important when you're starting out.
So for those of us or have been in business over the 5-year mark, 10 years, and perhaps they've never had a business loan, and so then they want to grow, but they need this capital. So what does that look like?
First of all, congratulations. If you make it over the 5 years,
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's fantastic. So once you go in and you open up your account and they get to know who Audrey is, if you're doing well, which means making a profit, you have proof, right? Because you're going to be filing your tax returns, and that's the proof that they're looking, right? And then you can talk to that person in your branch and have them understand what it is you want to borrow the money for. It's going to depend. Do you want to borrow for computers and things? They might lend you some money, but it's going to be very short term, right? They're not going to want to lend you a loan for 5 years to buy a computer, right?
Mm-hmm.
If a computer's only good for a year or two. But you're going to want to talk to them, and they can help you with the application process and things like that. The main point is to try to be as profitable as possible, and that will reduce your need to actually go and borrow money and reduce your risk and increase your ability to stay in business and be able to grow by yourself.
Thinking about the flip side of success would be failure. It's like, how can I accept failure but fail forward to build resiliency?
Fail forward. Do not beat yourself up about it. Don't torment yourself. Business is emotional. It's very passionate. It's our baby.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But if you have a hiccup or a failure, fail forward. That means take lessons from it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can say, you know what? I really did not need to go open this big office. Okay. I really didn't. I didn't need to go put this, I was paying, let's just say, $2,000 a month. I don't need to be paying $5,000, $6,000 a month. It's not helping me. Mm-hmm. My customers don't come and visit, right? We're using Zoom, or I'm going to them. I don't need this. My employees, they're working from home. They only need to come once a week to the office. So take a lesson from these hiccups or failures and then fail forward. Now you've learned what not to do again. Do not beat yourself up about it. Move on. Keep it moving, as they say.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, there's some roses down the road.
Uh-huh.
Oh my goodness.
And keep it simple.
Yes, absolutely. Keep it simple, sweetie. And I want to,
All right.
insult anyone with the kiss method there. Yeah. Okay. So how can we set clear goals then for, say, for instance, if we have employees to help improve efficiency and reduce excessive overhead?
That's one of my hot buttons. I noticed with my own experience that we don't really communicate clearly sometimes with our employees. So I come into work, I'm looking at Audrey, she's my boss, she's smiling at me. I'm smiling back at her saying good morning. She just gave me a raise, a couple months ago, just got my bonus. And as far as I'm concerned, I am doing a fantastic job. Meanwhile, beneath that smile, Audrey is going, what is that young man doing? But you have not communicated clearly to me what you expect. What are your expectations? And what I like to do, because I like to keep it simple, please tell me, Audrey, the 3 outcomes you want from me every month, 3 outcomes that you would consider my performance successful. That way I know exactly what I need to be doing and there's no disconnect. And then make sure that you're clear. So take care of the inventory. What does that mean? It's not clear. So look, Manny, we got some inventory in this warehouse. Make sure that less than $1,000 a month grows wings and flies out of here, right? That's a specific outcome. Or if you have an employee managing another employee, watch what he's doing. Well, what does that really mean? So give a specific set of instructions. Okay. So make sure that employee is checking the orders, make sure that we have at the most 1 mistake per month. We're trying to get down to 0, but it depends. So giving clear directions and managing expectations is going to improve the communication and boost your efficiency because people will know exactly what you want them to do to be successful.
Now, Manny, you mentioned your book earlier, how can we get in touch with you and follow you and get your book so we can learn more about you?
Sure. My website is mannyskevofilax.com, and I have some great material there. I've been blogging for a long time, and the book is Ultimate Profit Management. You can find that on Amazon.
Awesome. And Manny, before we close out here, what nugget do you want to leave the Chop Squad with?
Keep it simple and don't beat yourself up about it. The turtle is the one that's going to win the race. The rabbit might get up there ahead and it's going to place pressure on you. So don't be looking around what everybody else is doing. You've got your own journey. So slow, steady, and profitable is going to win the race and keep you happy.
Well, Manny, I really appreciate you coming today and sharing with us. And Chop Squad, be sure to follow Manny, get to his website and look at some of those materials and definitely buy his book. Wow. Thanks. We really appreciate it, Manny.
Audrey, thanks for having me. I enjoyed chatting with you.
Thank you for listening to The Business Chops. We hope that you were able to glean valuable information from our guests and that you will download and share this podcast. Your rating and review is much appreciated. To go deeper with our guests, please visit their website and social channels. To learn more about us, please visit businesschop.info or altogether.biz, where we will help you expand your brand.